The Royal Rumble. It's the most wonderful time of WWE's annual programming, and that's solely because of the chaotic, action-packed, and unpredictable nature of the Rumble match. It's the highest stakes under the brightest lights, and who doesn't love watching 30 wrestlers beat the living hell out of each other to be the last one standing that gets the opportunity to challenge for the ultimate gold at the grandest stage of them all. Instead of waiting all year, lucky for you, we have 10 of the best Royal Rumble matches in the history of the WWE that you can rewatch right now to get your much needed fixing. The best of the best Rumbles that actually had a meaningful impact on WWE's storylines. Let's get ready to rumble. Number 10, 2023. Instead of filling the Rumble with nostalgia pops or NXT call-ups, Triple H shifted towards putting the main focus on showcasing the talents of his stacked roster, and that was apparent from the get-go since he booked Gunther and Sheamus, the same two wrestlers that tore the house down in a 5-star Intercontinental Classic back at Clash of the Castle as entrant number 1 and 2. The whole 30-man affair was one big, carefully crafted narrative with multiple storylines progressing at once, like Edge and the Judgment Day, Sheamus, McIntyre, and Gunther, or Cowboy Brock and Bobby Lashley. Even surprise returns like Booker T and Logan Paul were handled exceptionally well and resulted in memorable moments, but everything led up to the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes' emotional return to win the Royal Rumble and earn the opportunity to realize his father's dream of holding the WWE Championship. Number 9, 2016. Now, this is a somewhat controversial pick because when Vince McMahon came up with the one versus all storyline and forced then WWE Champion Roman Reigns to defend his title in the 2016 Rumble match, it was literally WWE's Hail Mary to get Reigns over as a babyface. Though that didn't end up happening, what resulted was a really good Rumble. Dare I say, a phenomenal Rumble. From AJ Styles making his shocking WWE debut, to Sami Zayn returning to confront friend-turned-rival Kevin Owens, to Brock Lesnar fighting the dominance of the Wyatt family, to R-Truth climbing up a ladder to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, this Rumble had everything. Reigns' fairly decent Iron Man performance didn't disappoint either, but the cherry on top was the game Triple H, entering at number 30 to a thunderous pop and eliminating Reigns to win his 14th WWE title. However, you know what's better than Triple H's second Rumble win? His first one, which brings us to Number 8, 2002. Yes, the outcome was fairly predictable since Hunter's heroic return after being sidelined for 7 months due to a torn quadricep muscle pretty much guaranteed the Rumble win because of how massively over he was, but 2002 remains goated as it ticked all the boxes of what you'd expect from a good Rumble, featuring the return of Mr. Perfect, the short-lived reunion of the two-man power trip Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the biggest upset in Rumble history as Maven shockingly eliminated The Undertaker with a cheap shot after the Hardy Boys and Lita distracted him. This Rumble was stacked with wrestlers like Rikishi, Kurt Angle, Kane, RVD, The Big Show, and Booker T, and remains notable for being the last Rumble of not only the Attitude Era, but of Stone Cold Steve Austin's career. Number 7, 2006. This was a bittersweet Rumble since just a couple of months before, the world was robbed of one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time in the late, great Eddie Guerrero. Rey Mysterio vowed to win the titular match in Eddie's name, entering the 2006 Rumble in a lowrider as a tribute to Latino Heat, though in an unfavorable spot as he was second to the game Triple H. Nonetheless, the master of the 619 gave the best underdog performance in Rumble history, surviving until the final 3 with the Game and Randy Orton until Mysterio shockingly pulled an upset by eliminating both of them back to back. Truly, it was an emotional ride. Number 6, 2007. Being the first ever tri-brand Rumble by featuring superstars from the Raw, SmackDown, and ECW rosters, the 2007 match was loaded with former world champions. The World Tag Team Champions, Edge and Randy Orton, then known as Rated RKO, teamed till the final four and tried to take out the Phenom with a concerto, but Shawn Michaels made the save and eliminated both men to set up the best final two in Rumble history that divided the fans on who would win, since it really could have gone either way. In what was their first encounter after their iconic casket match back at the 1998 Royal Rumble, the Dead Man battled Shawn Michaels in a 7.5-minute mini match with multiple faux eliminations, high intensity, and heart-in-mouth tension until The Undertaker finally eliminated HBK to win his first Rumble. Number 5, 2008. Remembered as the final Royal Rumble of the Ruthless Aggression era, it's impossible to put into words how memorable this match really was. Legendary ring announcer Michael Buffer kicked off the Rumble in his iconic style and introduced the final two of last year's match as the first two entrants, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Jimmy Superfly Snuka and Rowdy Roddy Piper returned to rekindle their 20-plus year rivalry. The hardcore legend Mick Foley made an appearance to fight Triple H as a nice callback to their brutal street fight in the same building at the same event 8 years prior. Overall, it was already shaping up to be a good Rumble until entrant number 30 blew the roof off of Madison Square Garden as John Cena shockingly returned from a serious injury, miraculously ahead of schedule, to a deafening pop from the New York crowd that usually hated his guts. The final three gesture off between Triple H, Batista, and Cena was a sight to behold, and the leader of the C Nation eliminated both of them to win his first Rumble. But if you think that return was shocking, wait until you get a load of this. Number 4, 2020. When Paul Heyman announced that the WWE Champion Brock Lesnar would be entering the 2020 Rumble match himself as entrant number 1 because no superstar was worthy enough of challenging the Beast at WrestleMania, everyone was skeptical of how it would play out, but it was something new, something fresh, something we hadn't seen before. Lo and behold, the Beast walked into the Royal Rumble and decimated half the entrants, setting a record of 13 eliminations in a traditional Rumble match, until Lesnar's seemingly unstoppable dominance came to a screeching halt by a Claymore kick from the eventual winner, Drew McIntyre. It was a star-making moment that was perfectly encapsulated by Heyman's shocked reaction as the Scottish Warrior stared a hole through the toppled Beast incarnate. However, the highlight of this match was not Drew McIntyre's rise to main event stardom, but the surprise return of the rated R superstar Edge 9 years after a neck injury forced him into retirement, triggering a thunderous pop for an absolutely surreal moment where even grown men cried. Number 3, 2001. Widely regarded by many wrestling fans as the best Royal Rumble of all time, the 2001 Rumble match was everything you loved about the Attitude Era crammed into a 1-hour time frame and helped by a strong mid-card, hardcore brutality, and 5 possible winners in Kane, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Rikishi, and The Rock, all building towards an insane adrenaline-fueled ending and topped off with a red-hot early 2000s crowd. Kane became a one-man wrecking crew that decimated the mid-carders and racked up a then-record elimination of 11 people. From the return of the Big Show, to the Brothers of Destruction's short-lived reunion, to Triple H randomly appearing and attacking Stone Cold Steve Austin, to the greatest Royal Rumble stare-down of all time with a bloody Austin and The Rock in the final three, a preview of the goated WrestleMania X7 main event. It was moment after moment after moment, and in the end, Stone Cold eliminated Kane with a few brutal chair shots in a stereotypical but satisfying crowd favorite versus Big Monster to win his record third Royal Rumble. Number 2, 2018. Arguably one of the best Royal Rumbles in recent memory, it was surprising how well booked the 2018 Rumble match ended up being. From Finn Balor working the Iron Man spot in his debut Rumble match, to Andrade and Adam Cole being called up from NXT, to the surprise return of Rey Mysterio, this Rumble had perfection to a T, with great comedic spots, incredible pacing, and a phenomenal showcase of the main event roster star power. The final six was a showdown between the Ruthless Aggression era and the New Era, with Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio, John Cena, and Randy Orton. It all came down to what we wanted versus what we hated, as Nakamura faced two generations of shoved down our throats face of WWE stars in John Cena and Roman Reigns. But the artist of strong style eliminated both of them to win his debut Rumble. For the first time in a long while, the Rumble did what it's supposed to do, and that's propel a new star into the main event status, even if it was only temporarily. Number 1, 1992. 1992 was the first year that WWF realized it could use the Rumble match to perfectly set up the main event of WrestleMania, and so the stage was set when then president of the WWF, Jack Tunney, put the vacant WWF Championship on the line in the Royal Rumble match. The Nature Boy Ric Flair, who had recently signed with the WWF, drew number 3 and truly went the distance as the first ever Iron Man in Rumble history, surviving by any means necessary, all while his financial advisor Bobby the Brain Heenan ranted on commentary that this isn't fair to Flair. Heenan's increasing desperation for Flair to win was both hilarious and captivating, as Flair put on an unbelievable 60-minute performance that helped showcase his skills and endurance to the WWF audience that might not have watched his work in WCW or NWA. And with a tear in his eye, the Nature Boy added another chapter to his legendary career by winning his first WWF Championship. Shockingly, as a wrestler made famous by Vince's bitterest competition as the face of his company, but it was also the first heel victory in Rumble history, and the reception to the high stakes of this Royal Rumble was so incredible that the following year it gave birth to the tradition of having the winner of the Rumble match challenge for the world title in the main event of WrestleMania. 1992 was truly the best Royal Rumble of all time.